We're moving on now to our debate number 2. It's one of the biggest, most ambitious attempts to completely overhaul India's criminal justice system. The entire penal code, which dates back to 1860, holds within it laws like the sedition law, which were used by the British to stifle its colonial subjects. Today, a bid has been made by the Modi Sarkar to bring in Nyay laws for absolute Nyay. Home Minister Amit Shah tabled 3 bills in which the 1860 Indian Penal Code will be replaced by the Bharatiya Nyay Sanhita. The Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita will replace the Code of Criminal Procedure, and the Bharatiya Sakshi will replace Indian Evidence Act. All 3 have been referred to a standing committee for review, but the most significant of them all is the sedition law. This has now been overhauled as acts of secession. Essentially, the term sedition has been removed in the new bill, but the provision has been retained under Section 150 with some changes. Let's first listen into the Home Minister promising to replace the colonial law with a new age Indian law which not just punishes but provides justice.
जो कानून रिपील होंगे इस तीनों विधेयक से, वो कानूनों की आत्मा जो है वो अंग्रेज शासन को मजबूत करने की दृष्टि से कानून बनाए गए थे और उसका उद्देश्य दंड देने का था, न्याय देने का नहीं था। ये दोनों मूलभूत चीजों पर हम परिवर्तन करने जाए। एक और हमने राजद्रोह को रिपील किया है, दूसरी ओर संगठित अपराध और टेररिज्म पर नकेल कसने का काम भी हमने किया है।
The 3 proposed legislation which was introduced in the parliament by Honorable the Home Minister are path-breaking. Organized crime has been defined separately. A very comprehensive bill which shrugs off the colonial legacy of the past and is in tune with the current realities of India to make it more pro-people, expeditious hearing, and above all, catching real fugitives.
The Honorable Home Minister has moved 3 historic bills in the Parliament which are going to replace the colonial era criminal justice laws which govern the criminal justice space in India. This is a monumental reform that is going to touch the lives of every Indian.
Well, the opposition says it is an audacious attempt to change history and constitution. Listen in.
In the garb of saving nation and everything, BJP government is hell-bent on destroying everything. We have to save history, save constitution, because BJP is in the name of Rashtradroh. They are going to use it against the political opponents and the people who were not the traditional voters of BJP. I think people are saying it. We have to save democracy. We have to save history. And we strongly deplore the mindset of BJP in which they are hell-bent on changing everything.
जिस तरह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी राजनीति कर रही है वो स्पष्ट रूप से दिख रहा है कि वो अपने सुविधा अनुसार कहीं ना कहीं जो भारत की संवैधानिक व्यवस्था उसको बदलना चाहती है.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's directly go across to our guests. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Ishkaran Bhandari, Tehseen Poonawalla continue to be with us. We're also joined by Sanjay Hegde, senior advocate. Good evening to all of you. Sanjay Hegde, government after government has been accused of using or misusing sedition law as per their convenience, whether it's at the center, whether it's at the state. Now, how will this new change in the law change the situation on ground?
It will not change the situation because you may have taken away the word sedition, but the new reform brings in everything. And it also effectively throws away the protective shield that the Supreme Court had earlier put in to make the sedition law constitutional. Now, please look at the proposed change. Whoever purposely or knowingly by words, either spoken or written, or by signs or visible representation, or by electronic communication, or by the use of financial mean, when they mean means, or otherwise excites or attempts to excite secession, armed rebellion, or subversive activities, or encourages feelings of separate activities, or endangers sovereignty or unity and integrity of India, or indulges or commits any such act shall be punished with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment which may extend to 7 years and may be liable to fine. Now, you take the case of Shreya Singhal, 66A of the IT Act, which was struck down by the Supreme Court. What did the Supreme Court say? The Supreme Court said that the act is overbroad. Here, you don't call it sedition, but endangering sovereignty is about the same thing. And none of the previous Supreme Court safeguards saying that, actual violence must ensue or there must be an immediate incitement. Okay. None of those will be available. So, nor is there any legislative guidance as to when 7 years will be applicable, when life sentence. So, as they say, the sense of tyranny is the ability to make a harsh law and to use it selectively upon your enemies.
All right. So only disaffection against the government has been decriminalized. I want to bring in Tehseen Poonawalla. Tehseen Poonawalla, the opposition often has alleged that the government, the current establishment, has used sedition law left, right and centre as per their convenience. There's a long list of, in fact, how the Congress has also used sedition law. Now, the Congress never took an initiative, is what the BJP says, and hits back. Ki agar aap chahte to you could have scrapped it. Why are you objecting now?
Because the BJP should say whatever the Congress did wrong, the BJP will commit those wrongs. And there's a famous Shakespearean phrase that a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. I rephrase that phrase as to a buck by any other name will still bloom lotuses. But let me just read the explanation for 150, which, by the way, is not even a complete sentence. It's done in so much haste, but the explanation is even more draconian. Please hear the explanation for your viewers and you'll be stunned. The explanation is comments expressing disapprobation of the measures or administrative or other action of the government, not country government. So comments attributed to the government with a view to obtain the alteration by lawful means without exciting or attempting to excite the activities referred to in the section. So comments against the government that could spread disaffection has been put under this section. Swati, let me repeat for your viewers very slowly. Comments against the government has now been put in this. So they've removed the word sedition and now comments have come in, and it's not country, it's not nation. Explanation says government by lawful means. That's how draconian this is. I'm surprised more people haven't read the explanation.
Okay, Ishkaran Bhandari.
So I think it has gone to a standing committee. There's obviously a rough draft because a lot of laws from 1860 needed to be changed. We have to see what is the final version, which is the law commission, which the lawyers, everybody comes in. Because some of these sections, not only this section, some of these sections, and that is why, because this government has been accused of ramming laws to Parliament. This time they are not doing it. They are sending it to a parliamentary body, which will debate it, which will call the bar, judges. We will also have law commission. Let us see what the final version is, because principally and maintained all.
Ishkaran Bhandari, unfortunately, the audio line is really bad. We are not able to hear you clearly. Let us fix that. We'll come back to you. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, the question is very straight and simple. Will the new changes, in fact, help this government or any establishment actually, ensure that the laws will no longer be misused by the political parties, by governments?
Swati, this is a limited welcome step by the Modi government, and it couldn't have come sooner. I say limited because the word government from the actual 150 definition of the law is missing. What Tehseen has said is explanation of the law, is not the law itself. So Mr. Hegde, and you were correct, the earlier law that used to have disaffection against the government is not there in the subject of the law. Now, it sickens me that governments of all political parties have used the draconian sedition law in instances that are clearly not seditious. And I said use and not misuse, Swati, because the law is draconian, overarching and deliberately kept grey, so that acts you'd logically consider non-seditious can also be included. You can only misuse a just and conscientious law. You can't misuse a draconian one, can you? Quote, attempt to excite feelings of disaffection against the government, unquote, which is missing here, which is welcome. But everything else is grey. Everything is subject to something. Everything is primed for offending your sensibilities, in my view. Just 30 seconds. Sedition should be considered unlawful only and only if it is attached to an imminent, verifiable, palpable threat to India. In all other situations, there is no sedition.
All right. So the government says that this is going to bring about a change. The opposition says only the name has changed, nothing else will. Some individuals also believe, like Mr. Sanjay Hegde says, this will have no impact on ground. Ishkaran Bhandari believes, let it go to the standing committee. Let's see what more is going to change in the law itself before we arrive at a conclusion. On that note, I'm wrapping up. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us with your perspective, with your views, and thank you to our viewers for watching us.